plan for the mega fight with you and Crawford for 150?
If we can make it at that weight division, I mean, whatever weight division I'm at, if wherever we still boxing at the same time, let's do it. I'm down to fight any one of these motherfuckers. I ain't here for the money. I'm here to win. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, the money already here, and I got it already, and it's gonna come. More gonna come. But why would I get in the ring over, an injury? You know what I'm saying?
Jermell Charlo has just called out Terence Crawford once again after his recent win against Canelo Alvarez. On the other hand, Crawford showed no rush or excitement toward any future opponents, saying he's focused only on the present. He explained that he prefers to take his career one fight at a time, feels great physically and mentally, and is simply enjoying the moment. He said he's in excellent health and ready for whatever challenges the future brings without stressing over long-term plans.
It's not something you think about. You're just going fight by fight.
I always take one fight at a time. One fight at a time. I feel great. I'm healthy, and like I said, I'm looking forward to having some fun.
Moreover, Crawford also mentioned that if he retired undefeated at 42-0, he would be completely content with his career. He said he's already made history by becoming undisputed in multiple weight classes and proved everything he needed to prove in the ring. Crawford emphasized that when he decides to retire, it will be a mutual decision with his team and family. He said he'd rather leave the sport on his own terms, proud of what he's accomplished, than continue fighting without motivation. For him, walking away undefeated would mean closing the chapter with peace, no regrets, and no unfinished business.
If you were to not fight again, you'd be undefeated at 42-0. Would that satisfy you?
If that was the decision that I made, that my team made, for me to walk away, away from the sport, then of course I'll be, content and happy because that's the decision that I made. I'm not gonna make something, that I'm not comfortable with. I had a great career. I've done some tremendous things in the sport of boxing. I made a lot of history. What can I not be proud of if I walked away from the sport right now? I don't have no regrets because everything that I did it my way. So if I was to walk away from the sport right now, I wouldn't have no reason to hold my head down.
However, Jermell Charlo recently called out Terence Crawford for a potential fight after Crawford's dominant win over Canelo Alvarez, saying it would be one of the biggest matchups in boxing. Charlo believes both men are elite and that a clash between them would test skill, power, and strategy at the highest level.
Plan for the mega fight with you and Crawford for 150?
If we can make it at that weight division, I mean, whatever weight division I'm at, if wherever we still boxing at the same time, let's do it. I'm down to fight any one of these motherfuckers. I ain't here for the money. I'm here to win. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, the money already here, and I got it already, and it's gonna come. More gonna come. But why would I get in the ring over, an injury? You know what I'm saying?
Furthermore, David Benavidez has also expressed interest in fighting Terence Crawford. When asked about the idea, Crawford praised Benavidez, but admitted he's a huge fighter who might not even make 168 pounds anymore, looking more like a natural 175-pounder. He said fans need to be realistic about the size difference, but made it clear he's confident in his skills against anyone. Crawford stated that no matter who stands across from him, he believes he can find a way to win through timing, ring IQ, and preparation. If they put someone in front of me, I'll find a way to beat them, Crawford said, showing the same quiet confidence that has defined his career.
But if you were at 168, when we think about anybody at 168 outside of Canelo, the first name that comes to anybody's mind is David Benavidez. What about the potential for a fight like that?
No, like I said, man, that's a big dude. He ain't even at 168. When you look
right now, it's at 175. Yeah,
he probably can't even make 168 no more. But when you look at these fights, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, say, all right, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he can fight his ass off. But me personally, I believe in my skills and my ability. I could be anybody.
David's father and trainer, Jose Benavidez Sr., shut down talk that his son, David Benavidez, is too big to fight Terence Crawford, calling those claims embarrassing and inaccurate. He explained that David only moved up to 175 for better opportunities, not because he couldn't make 168 anymore, and said his son could still return to super middleweight with discipline, strict nutrition, and focus. Jose also pointed out that Crawford's coach coach Brian "Bomac" McIntyre and his team don't seem interested in the fight at this moment, but he made it clear that David remains young, hungry, and capable of taking on anyone. Confident in his son's strength and work ethic, he ended by saying, "At the end of the day, we're scary," reminding everyone that Team Benavidez fears no challenge, including a showdown with Terence Crawford.
That would be an embarrassment to me to say, you know, David's too big for Crawford. Now who said that? Plus, you've seen Bomac also. They're not interested in David, you know.
Can he still make 168? You seen him now training at second fight at 175?
Yeah, I think he's super young still. I think definitely. I don't think, it would be a little bit hard, but I think he could definitely do 168. We didn't move to 175 because of the weight. We moved because of the opportunities. And he only fought 2 fights at 175. After Anthony Yard, he'll be in shape. And, he has to work and watch his food and nutrition a little bit more. But, you know, I think he could do 168. But, like, I could be wrong, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, we're here.
In another interview, Jose Benavidez Sr. responded by saying Crawford's coach, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, isn't ready for that fight yet. He explained that their full focus is on David's upcoming November 22nd bout in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and they'll discuss future plans only after that. Jose said their goal has always been to chase legacy fights and give fans the biggest events possible. He added that if Crawford's team is serious after their next match, they'd gladly take the fight because David lives for big challenges. Fans want the best, fight the best, and we're ready, he said confidently, promising they wouldn't turn down a real opportunity.
You heard Bomac that he does not want Crawford to fight David Benavidez. So right now, you know, I believe that we have a tough fight, man. November 22nd. I don't want to get ahead of my fight. And, you know, we're super focused 100% on getting to Riyadh and making that fight happen and keep proving ourselves and show the people who David is. Let's see what happens after that. Like I said, you know, I will tell you, though, that it will be easy because, you know, we'll be fighting. If everything goes well, we'll take a couple of weeks off and the weight will not be a problem because we will already there, kind of. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, my job as a manager is to get them the best fights and train them as a trainer. And, I mean, we want to make history, brother. So, and if the people want that fight and people think that that's a good fight, you know, and if Bomac and Terence Crawford want that fight, why not? You know, we're here to please the fans and give them what they want.
Jose went on to describe why a Crawford-Benavidez fight wouldn't be an easy one for Terence. He called his son the Mexican Monster for his youth, power, and relentless work rate, saying David keeps throwing punches non-stop. While he gave Crawford full respect as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Jose warned that his son's strength and pressure could wear him down over time. He added that David is not like Canelo Alvarez. He's younger, hungrier, and doesn't stop moving forward. Crawford is great, but David is a different kind of beast, he said, confident that his son's power could make the fight a war.
You know, I think David's too big for Terence Crawford. I think Terence Crawford will be like 38 years old, you know? I mean, it will not be the same as Canelo, man. We know David comes in and throws a lot of punches and put the pressure. And no disrespect to Terence Crawford, he's the best pound for pound. He's in the books to do history. He did something that nobody could do. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the Mexican Monster, you know? David's young, strong, super big for Terence Crawford. And, you know, even Terence Crawford said that Kowalski's or whatever hit harder than Canelo because the power's not there anymore. With David, it's a different story.
Greg Hackett said the idea of Terence Crawford fighting David Benavidez feels like a stunt, comparing it to a daredevil constantly trying to outdo his last jump just to prove a point. He described the matchup as forced and unnecessary since it was never discussed seriously until recently. Hackett explained that Crawford has nothing to gain from facing Benavidez, while Benavidez would have to change his entire body to move back down to 168 when he's already comfortable at 175. He added that Benavidez has his own challenges ahead and should stay focused there, noting that both fighters are in different phases of their careers and have no real reason to face each other.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, all right, you jumped over one bridge or you jump, like you clear one bridge. All right, let's see if you can clear. It's like the Evel Knievel effect, right? All right, you jumped over 3 buses. Let's see if you can do 10 buses. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to test his limits, and he think the money is going to keep getting him out there. That fight is pointless. The fight is pointless because nobody ever talked about that fight until now. And then I don't feel like Bud needs a Benavidez. And then that would mean Benavidez would have to go into a different body and bring himself back down to 68 when he's already getting settled in at 175. And you know, I believe Benavidez has some tough tasks in front of him that he want to conquer before even talking like that. I don't even think he wanted to talk like that because there's really no point. He wanted the Canelo fight because Canelo was the man at 68. He was at 68. I don't think he cared about fighting Bud, and I don't think Bud care about fighting Benavidez.
Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo talked about a possible Terence Crawford versus David Benavidez fight. Usman called Benavidez the Mexican monster, while Cejudo reminded that he's no longer in Crawford's division. They noted Benavidez was Canelo's mandatory and is feared because few want to fight him. Usman added Benavidez is huge compared to Crawford, who's already 37. Both praised Crawford as a generational talent, comparing him to Manny Pacquiao, but agreed the matchup is unrealistic due to the size difference and where each fighter is in their career.
Hear me out here, Kamaru. Terence Crawford versus the Mexican monster David Benavidez.
I knew it was coming.
He was the mandatory for Canelo.
Oh my God. Relax.
What's up? The scariest guy in the division.
He's not in the division.
He said he could still make 168 pounds. The reason why he went up because nobody wants to fight him.
That's a big dude. And to be honest, Terence Crawford's 37 years old.
It's about merit. Could I get to the generational talent, as he said, with Manny Pacquiao? He's an 8-division world champ.
If it ain't no big name, Terence, do what you do, bro.
Trainer Jeff Mayweather also shared his thoughts, saying David Benavidez is one of the most avoided fighters in boxing today. He explained that fighters know how dangerous Benavidez is, and that's why most stay away unless the payday is worth it. Jeff said this avoidance only increases David's value and reputation as a true threat in the sport. He added that if the money and timing are right, the Crawford fight could definitely happen. Jeff also mentioned that if Canelo loses, the smartest move for him would be to seek a rematch with Crawford to rebuild his legacy and silence critics.
But at the same time, I mean, Benavidez is also the one guy that nobody's willing to fight. And if nobody's willing to fight him, that makes his value go up. And so the thing is that if you get the right guy that is willing to pay for that, and I mean that the Sheik, I mean I don't see him saying that, okay, well, we can't afford to fight this guy. So I mean that fight can happen if it's a fight that I think Bud won't entertain.
And what if you're Canelo? I think the only thing you could possibly want is that rematch to get that a little bit of that legacy back.
Promoter Eddie Hearn, on the other hand, believes the best possible matchup in American boxing would be Terence Crawford versus Jaron Boots Ennis. He said it would be a battle between generations, Crawford representing experience and Ennis representing youth. Hearn pointed out that it would take a massive payday to make it happen because Crawford understands how dangerous Boots is. Boots is the new version of Crawford, Hearn said. He just needs the big fights to prove his greatness. He emphasized that this fight would be explosive, but only if both men agreed to meet financially and competitively at the right time.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing. But it needs to be a payday for Crawford that would get him interested, because Crawford knows how good Boots is. And I'm not saying that Crawford thinks he's going to lose to Boots, but he knows that is a real fight. But for me, Boots is the new Crawford. We've just got to go out and get the fights to show how great he is.
Jaron Boots Ennis himself spoke on the situation, making it clear that he's not distracted by future names right now. He said his only focus is on his upcoming fight on October 11th, and that thinking too far ahead can lead to mistakes. Ennis explained that he respects Crawford and knows that the fight will come when the time is right, but for now, he's fully locked in on performing his best. I don't focus on outsiders. I'm locked in, he said. His calm, focused mindset showed maturity beyond his years, proving why many see him as the next big star ready to take over the sport once his opportunity arrives.
Fight Crawford, is it still a fight that you have interest in? My main focus right now is October 11th. That's all I'm worried about. October 11th, I ain't worried about no outsiders. You know, I'm locked in. That's how when you don't pay attention to what you got in front of you and you think ahead, that's how, you know, things happen. You know, I'm main focus on October 11th. That's it.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? We would love to hear your thoughts on this, so share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.